Changing educational practices is a bit like steering an iceberg. Big and cumbersome, an iceberg will usually move wherever the current takes it. However, every once in a while, a chunk of ice will break off and the entire iceberg will flip on its head. Educational change is similar. We work with the gentle and sometimes not so gentle pull and tug of the various stakeholders. Kids range from engaged to apathetic. Parents want their kids to be successful. Administration wants to meet academic standards and keep kids safe while doing so. Politicians, well, politicians make promises that sound good to as many people as possible. All of these pressures are the current on which education moves, but sometimes change comes and flips the whole system on its head. Our proposal is aimed at being such a change. Our project, Long Duration Augmented Reality Game Experiences, is aimed at changing the dynamic within school settings. Put simply, our team proposes to gamify the educational process through the use of custom-built augmented reality experiences. Specifically, a year-long adventure game that immerses each student into a challenging narrative and utilizes academic content where and when appropriate in order to solve the overarching mystery. This game will allow students to control their character design and abilities, will involve teamwork to solve particular challenges, and will fully integrate the school environment, both inside and out, through the use of augmented reality tech. Why is this type of initiative needed? It all comes down to the iceberg. We have been so attuned to moving with the current that we haven't noticed that the entire system has already turned on its head. Our students understand this. They see that there is a disconnect between what they do in their classrooms and how they learn and explore in what they consider their real lives, that is, the lives they live outside of the school building. Educational settings understand this on a conceptual level too, but they aren't nimble enough to change quickly. And because of this, many educational settings are having a difficult time connecting what they do to how their students learn. Our previous work supports fairly conclusively the fact that augmented reality gaming can engage students in the educational experience. The academic literature indicates that these games increase student engagement with the content and motivation to participate in educational activities, including their ability to support learning outcomes. With that being said, the next step is to describe the potential impact on student readiness for high school, college, and careers. The key issue here is how well can an augmented reality game-based curriculum provide the skills and content knowledge to support students in their future endeavors. This is particularly important in terms of the soft skills that are often given less emphasis in educational settings. The 4 C's of 21st century learning, identified as the most important for learning by the Partnership for 21st Century Skills, are critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. We believe that the active nature of augmented reality games will foster all 4 of these skills by providing opportunities for students to practice and model each of these skills in more engaging ways. As humans, we are attuned to the emotional aspects of a good story. The characters and challenges catch our attention, and our emotional connection allows us to empathize with characters and situations. By focusing on the story that we want to tell rather than the content as a discrete piece of information in and of itself, we leverage the emotional connections to the story to engage students with the content. Building upon the lessons that we have learned developing shorter educational experiences, we will design a long-duration game that challenges and engages each student in a way that traditional classroom learning seldom does. The games that we develop use educational content as the means through which the narrative is pushed forward. This is opposed to many educational games which focus on the content at the expense of the story, thus making them relatively one-dimensional and boring to students. After all, very few people want to play Ratios and Proportions, the game. This will allow us to not only engage students, but also allow us to more naturally integrate the skills and knowledge that they need for readiness for college, careers, and life. That's all well and good, but what does this look like in reality? The middle school students who play our game will utilize mobile technologies to interact with virtual and physical objects both inside and outside their school. The augmented reality events that serve as the cornerstone of the large initiative will be triggered through the use of location-aware technologies such as GPS and through markers such as QR codes or artwork throughout the school. Students will move about both inside and out to explore and find these events. Through a mixture of video, audio, text, and interactive web materials, each of these events will provide focus to the narrative. Academic content will be interwoven through these interactions to initiate and support the challenges that students undertake. With that, it's worth revisiting the iceberg. We in education tend to spend a great amount of time simply going with the flow. We sit on the iceberg and don't understand how dangerous that can be when change comes. If we don't take more of an active role in steering the iceberg, then we are in real danger of being victims when it flips over.